So you'll see this little widget here, and every time he harvests, it's going to add 1 pip. So we need to create powers for each of these. Something that's going to be visually unique and stand out, and then you'll also know which power you used. And Dave Greco put these together, which we're going to use for energetic harvesting. The yellow one's going to be the stamina buff. The blue one's going to be finding weak points, or it's going to increase your chance of having a weak point. The purple is going to be energetic harvesting, so it's just going to boost all of your harvesting stats by 5% for 5 seconds, and then ruinous harvest, which is going to increase your harvesting damage. I was going to show off this one today, but I could probably spend like 45 minutes tweaking fire and smoke, and that's not fun for anybody. So I'm gonna stick to one of these, which are, I can build the core of the effect in the hour that I'm on here. And then the other thing we're gonna have are some of the disciplines. We're gonna have a mining, logging, quarrying, skinning, and grave digging discipline, which are going to boost all of your effects for that discipline on energetic harvesting. So if you have the mining discipline equipped, it's gonna boost all of your mining stats, or grant you higher mining stats on all of your energetic harvesting buffs, which are energetic, perceptive, 3 pip stamina restore, heightened, beneficial harvest, and ruinous. So similar to disciplines, we had like a shared effect so that you always knew like whether you were casting a barrier effect. Let me pull those up. You were pulling up you're using a cleanse effect, a barrier effect, or a damage dealing discipline. And we're going to do something similar. Like I'm going to have a base that is just unique for harvesting buffs. So a lot of our cleansing, heals, poison cleanses, disciplines have these bases. And we're going to have one for harvesting, which pulls up some of these runes, which mean harvesting, tool, and earth, I believe. And that's from the rune language that Dave Greco mocked up. And then also, if you're having an empowered, if you're using a discipline on top of your energetic harvesting, we're going to have another effect on the tool itself. You're going to get like a little burst and flare. So we're building a lot of these additively so that we can just take and remove whatever we need based on the circumstance. If you have that discipline equipped, if it's a harvesting spell, etc. On top of these 4. So I'm gonna start making this one now. So you're always gonna see this harvesting rune base, and this radius will probably be a little bit bigger. Let's just change that to 1 and change that to 0.6. Depending on the race that you are. So you're gonna see something like this burst up. And again, there's a lot that has to be done to these ribbons to get it to look closer to the concept, but like we have the general shape. Like really the time I have to spend on here is just like creating this base ring, breaking up some of this, playing with the transparency in the center, having some like secondary particles coming off these ribbons, which is also super easy. Like on that, I just create a subspawner here under the ribbon, and I can tell it like maybe, or I can create an event. I can have like particles create at every card, or even like only at a certain height. Like there's a lot I can do in here because they seem to only be like when the particle is more opaque. So when a particle is over like half transparency, I can have it emit some of these other particles. I don't think I have this glowing at all. No, I don't. Let me make this glow. And what the glow really is, it's just amplifying my color values, and anything greater than a value of 1, you're going to see bleed out and glow if you have bloom on in the game. If you don't have bloom on, it's going to look like this, which is lame, but I'm still on 15 frames per second. I'm going to crank that back up. So yeah, that glow may be a little bit too much. But yeah, pretty easy. Like, this is actually a pretty quick effect. There's not that much to it. I think ruinous, like to get to shapes and the embers and everything, and like getting the fire to behave the way I want it to, like just getting it to like wisp the right way will take a bit more time and a little bit more tweaking than some of these other ones. And then this is also a concept for Jubers getting sucked into, which we're not going to touch yet. It probably won't be there for when, I don't know. I'm not going to say anything because I don't know. And I don't want Val to cut my head off, which she will justifiably do so. I'm going to keep my mouth shut. But yeah, this was just me playing around in Popcorn and creating one of these energetic harvesting buffs. And you see, like I go into this with a concept. I have to bring life to it, and I also have to just pay attention to like the gameplay. Like I need this to behave quickly. I need other things to be readable. I need to create this effect, but I also need the base effect added on, and also the empowered effect if the discipline's on. So there's a lot of time I have to sit down with Blair, or in this case, I had to watch his action harvesting video, which, not Ryan Gosling, which turned out to be like super informative. Like if you watch the first 30 minutes, he basically goes through all the disciplines to harvest the weak points, the energetic harvesting. Energetic harvesting is the big one. And then we also have tools on the tray here, like harvesting just went through a massive overhaul, and I think crafting is next, which I'm really looking forward to because I love harvesting and crafting. I think that's it.
Yep.
That's all the time we got.
So let's start off by explaining what I'm doing. This is a basic harvest when you have no tools equipped in your hand. So this is your empty-handed harvest. Right now what we have in the game is kind of like a magic-y Jedi thing, like where you're pulling the wood from the tree. Todd didn't like that so much, so I'm going back with a different approach to this. For the Elkin, he's going to be headbutting the tree to knock the loose branches off for you to be able to gather. I've already started posing them out. I have like a little sub-object in here to simulate the tree, but I'm going to turn that off so I can get a good look at the Elkin.
Classes are now restricted to using specific types of armor. Plate is used by Knight and Templar. Mail is used by Champion, Myrmidon, Cleric, and Druid. Leather is used by Confessor, Frostweaver, Ranger, Assassin, and Duelist. In order to load out powers into a specific tray or alter your default combat tray, you must be in that specific tray before pressing K. Otherwise, it will appear as though you have no powers. This has already been changed based on what I saw on Akshay's machine yesterday.
So it's a temporary thing.
It's a temporary thing. In the new power book that's coming, we actually show you all available trays, and you're able to drag to anyone that you want to. Adjusted the critical chance and or critical hit damage for the following powers to 10%. Careless Whisper, Nothing to Lose, Revenge, Ricochet Shot, and Deadly Retaliation. Did they used to be much higher?
Between much, well, they were all different.
Okay.
Right? So, I mean, you know.
Basically, we normalized them.
Yes, we normalized them, and basically, the idea is this is the balanced time, right? When we're now that disciplines are in, most of them are working, we're going through and making sure that, you know, things are basically, there aren't any outliers that are super broken.
Duper,
yeah.
Yep.
Broken.
The cost to activate Nothing to Lose has been reduced to 500 health. Set Ultimate Warrior, Glass Cannon, Resolution, Furious, and all clear damage bonuses to 10%. Sounds like more.
Same reason.
Yep. Glass Cannon now increases damage taken by 10%. Sturdy now reduces damage by 33% while your health is above 80%. Guardian Rhythms now reduces damage taken by 5% or 10% for the twisting version. Illusory Armor now reduces damage by 7%. I always love those weird numbers because you're like, how did they arrive at 7%? Not 6, it's not 8.
It's not 10.
It's 7.
But it's more than 5.
Mm-hmm. Rune Carved Flesh now reduces damage by 10%.
And the reason for all of these basically is we're since a lot of these are stackable, we basically don't want you to be able to cap your stats from one source. Right. That's what really ultimately all this is about, right? If you can just cap something by equipping 2 disciplines, then why do you care about skills or gear
or any other progression?
Any other progression, right? So I mean, this is not just like Halish is evil. This is more like Halish wants a.
You are evil.
Game. I actually am evil.
So besides the point that
I actually am evil.
He is evil. Yes. things needed to be kind of brought into some semblance. Created Dominator minor discipline for champion, which adds dominance on basic attack crit. You know what? I don't think we haven't even talked about the champion.
It's just quietly sitting there.
It's just, I don't even know that people have noticed the dominance meter on the champion.
Or just how deadly the champion maybe could
or
be?
It goes up because they've been playing Myrmidon.
Yes,
Myrmidon is back to the new hotness.
Mm-hmm.
Champion has his dominance meter, and what do those 10 pips do? Because I noticed there's 10 little leaves on it.
So anytime you leap or and also activating Ultimate Warrior,
okay,
you get one or more pips of the dominance, right? And you spend those pips of dominance to get guaranteed critical hits on your trait powers. And specifically, I think it is Great Cleave, your 4 basically, the one that goes into the spinny one, actually does bonus damage if you spend dominance with it. So that's your big hitter, but more or less you'd be a crit monkey.
Well, so crits on, I mean, the champion is a slow, heavy. He's supposed to be our slowest class. Yeah. So all of his animations are tweaked to be the slowest, which because
well, not all of them. See, he has some fast trait power. So I mean, like,
but remember his left clicks are pretty slow.
His left clicks are pretty slow, which means they hit hard. And he does have some slow. Massive cleave is a big slow power and hits like a freight train if you use it with dominance, right? And so pretty much the game is like, you can get the crits on all your trait powers, but they're not going to do as much as massive cleave. So do you want to save your dominance for the great big nasty crit that you know is going to be there, or do you want to get rock the CC, which is going to do a lot less damage, but we'll still crit. Crits are crits, baby.
Right.
It's all good.
And especially if you have a bunch of crit damage as well. So that will only scale higher as you get more and more crit damage.
Yes, indeed.
Okay, so basically the champion got a whole new mechanic that's kind of been quietly added.
Quietly brewing. If you didn't notice,
it's a line item patch. So for those
14 pages of patch notes,
if you haven't logged in the champion in a while, check him out. Added functionality to the Black Mask discipline. We got Borland gave us positional combat a couple weeks back, so I quickly finished off Black Mask, which has been waiting for that functionality for a couple weeks, as well as I think it gives a damage buff when you leave stealth for the passive. It's called Shadows Linger. You get 3 seconds of heightened damage right after breaking stealth. Call Darkness while active acts as though all attacks count from behind. So this will become more important as we start adding more positional stuff.
Right.
So
like the Assassin.
So
where that's going to be a good thing to take when you have the nasty backstabs.
There's Shadows Linger. Shadows Linger can no longer be equipped in any tray except a stealth tray. Half Giant racial passives grant 5% damage bonus for 12 seconds. Human activated passives grant 10% damage bonus and a 5% increase in resource cost with a 45-second cooldown. I think we've gone with 45 seconds for most of the racial powers. Human passive reduces damage by 3%. Nethari personal crit chance mod is a negative 3%. All right, you want to grab the champion?
Sure. Let's see. Remove weird buff icon that shouldn't be there in Champions League 2.
All right.
Yes, it was just a strange buff icon that was there. You're no longer rooted while performing Massive Cleave, which means you're no longer rooted while performing Massive Cleave, and you can run people.
Okay.
Added a new pool, Dominance, for champions. Champions gain a point of dominance when leaping, and 2 points of dominance with each activation of Ultimate Warrior, up to a total of 10 points of dominance. Dominance decays slowly over time, very slowly. Dominance is consumed by the following abilities for a guaranteed crit. And then basically Disarming Shout, Massive Cleave, Rend, Spinning Back Fist, Vicious Stomp, Whirling Pain, pretty much all your melee trait powers. The cost of Whirling Pain has been reduced, and the full cost is deducted on ability use. So it's actually much cheaper to use Whirling Pain. And if you use a point of dominance to activate Whirling Pain, every hit of it will crit. So you can literally be a nasty dude. With that. In addition to the guaranteed crit, Massive Cleave causes additional damage when used with Dominance. Pointing that out again. Hooked up new champion UI widget for Dominance stat. This looks like kind of a cool necklace of teeth. No doubt of your enemies. Whirling Pain eats a point of dominance at the beginning of the ability rather than when it ends. Actually, you never saw that being any different, but that's the way it works.
We haven't mentioned yet, and I don't know, I want to make sure we do mention it before we run out of time, is the soul power cost.
Soul power. Oh, yeah, you know what? I don't... We definitely did this. I don't know if I've run into any...
Yeah, I don't know if I've seen a note about it, but I noticed people have been reporting it as a bug.
Yeah.
But we clearly made some of the soul powers cheaper.
Yeah, which includes, like, Immolation, for example, is 500.
It's 500 instead of 1,000.
Yeah, so, yeah, we'll have to make sure we update the patch notes with that, because that is something I know everybody would be very interested in knowing. If I might be able to remember these offhand, since they're not getting this exclusively from, let's see, the ones that I'm positive are 500 would be the Night, whatever that's called.
Leap Smash.
Leap Smash. Ranger Sustain.
Sustain definitely is cheaper. Leap Smash is cheaper.
And Sustain's actually got a nice buff with some of the bug fixes we got. With that...
Yeah, because Sustain now... Basically, the problem we were having with Sustain was it was either too good or it sucked.
Goldilocks problem was the problem with Sustain.
So we got a way to cap it such that we could at least make it always good.
Yes, it is now always basically, and I don't know if I saw that note in there either, but it is true. Sustain, you will now, you can gain up to 30% of your maximum health, and it, the life steal portion is much
because
much
without
higher.
that cap, we were basically trying to do some number magic.
And it's never going to work.
And
right?
it never is gonna work.
Either it's going to be just absolute God mode for the entire duration, or it's going to be like, you know.
Or we have to play conservative and balance it on the low end, whereas now we can always, we since that cap was put in, and it works.
Yeah, and it works, and it's all good.
So Sustain got a lot better.
Yep, Confessor, Immolation would be another one that's, I completely lost. What page are we on, Blair?
We're on page 6. Harvesting disciplines have been added to the pre-alpha test recipe list under major disciplines, which are Scout, Miner, Logger, Quarryman, Skinner, Gravedigger, Villain, Hoarder, Connoisseur, Lookout, Survivalist, and Foreman. Basically, here comes the harvesting disciplines. They're deprecated the plentiful harvest rating stats as they were no longer needed. Yeah, I'd put them in at one point as kind of a floodgate, and I was just like, F it, this is like 25 stats, and they're really irritating me, and we'll just put any stat gains that you gain for plentiful harvest into the one bucket, and we'll get you multiple ways to get the +4 points you need to get to 5 to make the magic happen. So there's multiple ways that you can do that via flask, skill training, and group leadership, as well as discipline. So there's a plethora of ways to get those +4 points.
A vector.
So
Victor.
there you go. Corrected an issue that the big hit early break threshold, which was using an old 10x damage scale. This means root break will much more quickly when you're attacked.
And I have verified yesterday that it works. So it does work.
What is the threshold for a big hit?
Big hit, what is it? 250. Yes.
250 points of damage.
So if you're hit for more than 2, exactly how it works is if you are hit more than 3 times from any source, the root will break, any amount. And if you are hit for 250 or more, there is a 35% chance that it will break.
Okay, 35% chance.
It's not you're not guaranteed to break if you get hit by more than 250, but there's a chance for it to break.
There's a chance.
And that all adds up to mean that if you're getting beat on, root's going to break quicker.
Okay.
It ain't going to be 8 seconds.
And if we wanted root to break sooner, we would make it a mez. And a mez is something that breaks when you take damage. Root is not a mez, which is why it's called root and not mez.
Right. And so the upshot is it is working. We can tune the values if we or you are unhappy with the way it's functioning. So, but it is functioning. So
yeah, we've definitely looked at it. And I think some of the too many roots is because Arcane Archer could shoot out to 80 meters.
Right. It's the new hotness, right? Everybody's like, bows! It's bow time!
It's bow time!
Everybody get some bows!
Get some bows! Do dots count as hits? Dots do not count as hits.
Dots is a hit. The application of a dot is a hit.
But
the
the
dot
ticking,
ticks is not, no.
Ticks are not considered hits. No.
Not in this case. We can consider we could consider them hits, but we do not. If we wanted to.
That is a
but
choice.
We don't.
Yeah, most of our procs, we either look for the application, which we call a hit, or we look for damage, which is considered ticks. Most of our things don't look for ticks because you could have so many of them on you at one point. Ranger. Ranger now has the alertness ability, which lets you become acutely aware of your surroundings and increases your perception by 25, attack power by 50, removes the exposed state, and detecting enemies in stealth for group members and yourself. Holy crap. This ability can be slotted in the ranged, melee, and harvesting trays. What's the cooldown on this thing?
Probably a minute.
Okay.
Or 68 seconds or whatever it is.
It's
Stalkerizing the Ranger.
Yes, it's starting to fold. Didn't we give them flare too, or was that not some type of flare?
They
power?
have flare, yeah. They have flare, and they have that as a group buff. So
okay, I didn't see flare called out anywhere.
They more or less give themselves and their group members perception, and they can also drop flares and set up a perimeter and be like,
okay,
ain't nobody coming in here while they're stealthed.
Flare. The knight excels at many things, and in fact, he excels at many things in later game, even when he has more. As we talked about this morning, more armor.
Right. Yeah. So I mean, the knight once a knight can be rolling around with 3 or 4x effective health because they're rocking 50 to 75% armor and they block. That's going to put their effective health up to 6 or 8x, which is ridiculous.
Yes.
So knight may. So I mean, we're gonna keep an eye on balance like
we always
do. And so if we feel they're if they're truly too weak, we'll buff them up. But they may be one of these classes that takes a while to come into their own.
Yeah, they're one of the, they scale very well, right? They will get insane once they have really good armor.
Yeah.
So I mean that's just the way it is right now. And unfortunately, they don't have access to really good stuff because they're using weapon racks and they don't have the skills to get the resources, and they don't have factories to master. So. Again, our anticipation for them is that they will scale very well. Wood Elf Teleport is making Rangers scarily mobile. The legions of people switching to Wood Elf Ranger indicate a balance issue. Do you plan on making changes in response to players swarming to a race class combos we recognize as OP? So what we need to do is actually look at the logs and see where people are going, because anecdotal information really doesn't help us, because within one play session for you or 2 play sessions, it may be a thing. But we will start making a lot of these changes based on what the logs are telling us once we have more people in there. Right now, you guys are the early brunt bug fix and find kind of force, and you're showing us where all the high nails are, and we're kind of knocking them down as these patch notes show. Which, thank you for all of that. When will mounts be added? Well, we technically have mounts with the form of catapults.
Yeah, that's true. Yes.
Right, catapults technically use the back end to the mount system. Things that move you around faster, that will come in the future. Gathering is very, very monochrome now with no crit chance till deep in the trees. I would disagree with you, Edwin Silverhand, which is why I gave everybody the energetic harvest power rather than hiding that away behind a discipline. Basically, everybody has a chance to play that minigame and the weak spot minigame, unless you just really hate those things and you just hold left click. Speaking of which you can still do. But speaking of which, because people are starting to put results up, and we do have a ticket in, and hopefully that will come out soonish as well, which is the ability for a power from a tray to override the left click if you are holding left click. Because right now it feels really laggy or delayed if you do it that way, rather than left click 1, left click 1. If you just hold left click and press 1, it doesn't actually intersperse it into the combo chain until much later, which makes it feel like it's laggy.
Right.
We will get the ability queuing or
Input
power queuing
11.
in.
Well, don't call it. Well,
What do we want to call it? Input queuing? What do we call it?
Just input improvements. Right?
Okay.
Queuing is a loaded. That's because it's not going to be queuing, right?
Yeah, it's not technically
you say queuing. People are going to think like, oh, I can queue up 3 abilities and throw up my hands. It'll do them. We're not talking like that, right?
That's the 15-year-old approach, but it is all right. Okay, input improvements.
Input improvements so that you
don't get confused.
You don't get confused, and you can click the button, and what you click is what you get.
Yes, but basically the main tray will take priority over left clicks, which is the important thing.
Right.
When will vessels, jewel crafting, and the herbs alchemy be added? We have lots of gathering and crafting to test.
Yes, if you don't do jewel crafting, he won't be happy with you.
Well, I've already got the recipes for jewel crafting in. There's just no stats.
You keep on saying it.
Yeah.
You're just a tease. You know that? You're terrible.
I wanted to make sure that the crafting worked on it. As far as the stats for it, it's because I'm still torn on res. I don't know if I want to put powers as passives kind of thing on there, or if I just want to do attributes or stats. It's kind of how exciting do I want to make those things? Do I want to put set bonuses on those. I mean, there's all kinds of things I could do now that I have the tech. The question is, what will I do? NASDAR Twitch.
So how long is our runway?
Twitch.
Much longer than you think. There'll be an announcement on that in a couple of weeks.
Okay.
Much longer than you think.
Was the news article that indicated Ace just got $2 million additional funding recently accurate or just delayed appear?
Well, the way that works is until you file the final stuff. So we had already put some of that money up on our website. I think we did about 1.6 of it, and we finally finished that round off, which was I think at almost 2.2. So yeah, so that's up now on the website too. But there's more coming as usual. No, I mean, we're fine runway-wise. Again, Todd has been very clear about let's make the right game. Let's not try to rush this thing out. Let's make sure that we make the right game and get it done. And our job is to make sure that we do have the runway to do that. And yes, we've taken care of that.
Which answers the first part of Kirchhoff 3's question. How is funding going with the delay in release? It's still going. Everything looking good.
Yep.
Are we going to run into a must-release now because we are out of money situation?
The questions are very common on this because it's a common problem. So let's, talk about the industry, right? So I can think of very few games that didn't run out of money and ship. Which is why these questions are coming up. That it is a known problem.
Unless you're one of the big guys, the super big guys.
Yeah, the super big guys. But normally they don't have any patience except for Blizzard. So, they run out of patience before they run out of money. So yes, we are in a good position to keep the game keep the game from launching until we feel like that loop is completely firing and that it's working right. If people aren't having fun, why would we launch? That'd be dumb. We need to make sure the game is fun.
Okay. Interested in the economy system. Any new info coming soon about how that works? So a lot of those pieces are getting put into place in our next milestone. You will see things that will start to make sense. You won't have people who are harvesting, making all of the money in the universe. So that's part of the game loop, and you will definitely see that coming soon. When will we expect new mobs to be put in the game? We are currently missing 3 different mobs that will offer leather. Yes, you are in fact.
Yeah,
they are coming. They are coming. That is definitely part of our...
It is a high priority item for the next wave of stuff we're putting in.
Will the completion and implementation of the remaining game loop elements constitute as transitioning to alpha?
Man, I hate that I can't call people dumb anymore. It's so politically correct. Fuck that. All right. Next.
Okay.
And what was the question again?
The question was, will the completion and implementation of the remaining game loop elements constitute as transitioning to alpha?
Mostly, yeah. I think that alpha is meaning that almost all the systems are in.
Yeah, traditionally in game development, alpha is when you, have hit a end of a runway where they're just like, F it, do what you have, or you've got a vertical slice of the game, which means you've got one of everything, and then alpha to your live process is just making more of those.
Beta is just getting all the content in.
Well, that's refining and fixing bugs.
Tuning those systems. So we may have a version 1 of a bunch of systems in that we're going to do a version 2 on by alpha. So we have a couple of systems that are bleeding into beta.
Yeah,
but they aren't.
Generally, you don't like to do that, but
yeah, but it's a couple.
It shouldn't be the rest of the game, which you have seen. I've seen a bunch of MMOs transition to a free-to-play model with subscriptions, EVE Online, for example, for enhanced content. Do you guys have plans on transitioning to this model once the game is stable and feature-rich?
We have no current plan to transition to a free-to-play model, and the reason for that is you build a game around a particular business model. Our game is built around a buy-to-play model. Mm-hmm. It doesn't mean that other people haven't done that, but you can't really look at EVE and go, hey, those guys they were leading us on for 15 years before they switched to a free-to-play. That's,
and it causes other design problems. You basically build the game differently, ideally, rather than trying to bolt on a free-to-play.
And the hole in the market that we really wanted Crowfall to fill was the market of not being free-to-play, right? So there's plenty of free-to-play games to go play. Go play free-to-play games if you like them, right? We wanted to build a game that was not free-to-play on purpose, just like Mark Jacobs is building a game that's subscription-only on purpose, and he's building his design around that, and it's smart.
Okay, are there any upcoming marketing strategies that are going to be happening with Crowfall now that soft launch is approaching sooner rather than later?
Yes. Next question.
Next question. All right. How is the progress?
That would be telling if I told.
How is the progress? The full race class split, Fae, Stoneborn, and Frostweaver. Well, Frostweaver is actually the high elf, and the progress is going good. The Fae is...
Man, you ruined Frostweaver by calling it high elf?
Well, they are high elf. It's a
Okay.
it's a race. Frostweaver is a class. So again, two different things. And progress is going great. And as they come online, they will just make their way to live. Many of us with years of VIP already would like to support you by purchasing weapon and armor skins in game of support of Crowfall.
That's nice.
That's nice. As soon as we're up there, we will let you.
Well, I don't know that we will, but yeah, it's a, you know, he's talking about redemption, right? And we don't know when we're going to do our next redemption or conversion. You know, we are going to be converting to an MTX store for almost everything except for the packages and the VIP and the MTX. So we've talked about that before in the past. That's coming soon, you know, meaning within the next 2 months.
Okay, that is kind of soon.
Yeah. So real soon now, TM. Right, that one. That's normally 2 weeks, though.
Are you considering your balance between the funds allocated to art creation versus creation of the game?
No, we never considered that.
We are seeing a lot of visual candy outside the game, and what I think people would like to see is more in-game candy. So
People just want candy.
Well, candy, I guess, yeah.
So a lot of stuff is being built. So I don't know. There's a difference between concept art and art that's actually in-game art. There's a ton of in-game art coming that is not in the game yet. There's no doubt about that. There's a ton of stuff. And yes, we do, of course, consider that. And we have we're about to ramp up our outsourcing pretty significantly and bring in a lot more content into the game.
Do you think you will have weekend testing keys?
Never.
I asked for giveaways for fans that want to try.
No.
Okay.
That would be a semi-free-to-play strategy. Not interested in it right now. Will we eventually one day have a way for current backers or buyers later to have a buddy key like that? Probably, but not in the near future.
So EA, when are we going to put the Electronic Arts?
Oh yeah, we should totally
boxes?
put the loot boxes in. That's going to work out really great, isn't it?
This is a great time to do it too.
I know we should double down on loot boxes.
We should have a big announcement next week that says, "Guess what's coming, guys?
Loot boxes!" What can we gate behind loot boxes? Oh, the possibilities are endless.
We could.
We could make friends and influence people all day long that way. So. Not happening, guys. That's fun, but not happening. Don't let us don't give us ideas. It's not smart.
When will you invite closed beta 3 backers?
Pretty soon, actually. By end of year, they'll be in.
Okay. Will there be a pre-launch only package?
You have those right now.
Okay.
If you don't get them now, it's almost the end of 2017. For those of you who are newer and don't know, every year we've retired the packages of the current year, and the next year's packages are crappier. And I don't mean crappier; they just have less stuff in them, right? So the value per dollar goes down.
You still want to buy them, however, they're not as good as the previous years.
Yeah, you should be in marketing.
The
guys who don't like your designs would love you to be in marketing.
I just filtered just a little bit.
Okay.
I got just a little more filtering.
You're very, very subtle there.
Will we hear details of campaign bans, shadows, dregs, and rule sets, Bloodstone, Bane Circles soon?
Yeah, I mean, all that stuff's coming.
Yeah, it's not like we've forgotten about it.
No, we haven't forgotten about it at
all. Did you laugh at EA recently?
I don't like to laugh at EA. I still got a lot of friends there. EA's a great company in a whole bunch of ways, and I'd rather be working here. Next.
Bags and containers can be made in games soon. I'm running out of space again.
Where?
With the new UI stuff, it definitely opens up the possibility of getting bags in there.
Did you just say add bags?
Yeah. They've been on the docket for a really long time.
Damn it.
The design of the Frostweaver class, aka chain weapon, etc. Yes. Yes, that one still haunts us at night thanks to a concept drawing by Dave. Thank you, Dave. Okay. Neither G-Dub or J-Todd have been huge proponents of their games having space at the conventions, PAX, etc. Gamescom. Travian's exception. Does Crowfall-style game change your mind or not?
So the whole convention thing is really just a crowdfunding thing for us. We weren't willing to spend runway money. You know, a bunch of people were asking runway questions above. We weren't willing to spend it on marketing stuff.
Well, I mean, look,
We wanted to spend it on development.
what does a booth cost?
Thousands of dollars.
Like a good booth.
No, just a decent tiny booth costs thousands of dollars.
Right, which you
it
don't
costs
want.
thousands of dollars to send people there.
Oh, yes, that's
You know,
definitely.
it's very expensive to go to shows. A lot of companies throw money around on that stuff, and we just didn't see that it was a positive ROI for us. In other words, if we could make as much money going to the show to pay for it, we'd be at shows by new backers or whatever. Not going to happen. It's a very busy environment. You don't get a lot of press, you know, because everybody's trying to get press at those environments. We love being out there with our consumers. That's why we go to PAX South, because it's nearby, and we can do a fan event off-site. But we're not going to be on the show floor, at least not until post-launch, because we're not a positive ROI company. We have to spend our backer money and our investor money to actually fulfill the promise of Crowfall and build the damn game. So I know it makes for a little less excitement, and we look very contrarian to the average game company. But, you know, we're kind of contrarian in a bunch of ways. So for me, it's just like, oh, good, I get to check one more contrarian box in my career and not go to shows for the first time in, 40 years. So I like that.
And shows are a big pain in the ass.
I love seeing the consumers and stuff, but they are a time and energy suck.
Yep. Okay, why are guild logos so damn expensive?
Oh, you mean the custom ones? Because we hate them. They cost us a lot of time and energy to make sure that you haven't drawn a penis on your guild thing, and then we put it in the game. So it's a challenge. Our guilds are a little bit just to have a guild's a little bit expensive too. We get that, but we know that guilds are we don't expect every 3 people to have a guild.
Correct.
We expect our guilds to be bigger guilds. So as a percent of the total of a normal guild, it's really quite inexpensive.
Okay. Can you please clean up your entitlement graveyard that is currently littering my account entitlement screen? We have some dating as far back as Kickstarter.
Is that the scree?
That is scree.
Okay, I'll delete all his entitlements. It's not a problem. I will help you, Scree. You will be fixed. Write his name down for me, Jack, so I can help
I'll
you.
remember. Don't
Okay, this is good.
I got you.
I'm going to have fun.
Will maps be more random? Will we see the end of the mirrored sides of the map? Yeah, so ultimately that is the goal. I mean, we're concentrating on building fun parcels now, and then eventually when a campaign map comes up, it will grab a bunch of big parcels from the parcel sack and put them down, and then it'll start filling in with medium parcels, and then it'll fill everything in with smaller parcels. Our challenge is to make every parcel interesting such that we are happy that the content on there is going to be good no matter where it gets socketed in the map. And sure, we'll have to make some special rules. Mountains can only go here, but we're getting to that way down the road. For now, we're hand building them with those things.
Yeah, you'll see the truly randomized maps in beta. You're not even going to see them in alpha. You're going to see us making more new maps that are new and different, but you're not going to see a truly randomized map system until beta. That's one of the few systems that's slipping into beta.
Will there be a pre-launch only package for visual changes to characters was the question. I'm not sure.
About character skins. And
yeah, that's like mohawks and things like that as a pre-launch only package.
Sunglasses, whatever. Right now we're not really talking about that. I mean, we just started talking about it.
Gordon Salty, will we ever see friendly fire in the test?
I'm not saying anything.
Yeah. Will there be paid skins for the characters? Can I increase bank size with my wood dollars?
Wood dollars? I don't know what a wood dollar is.
I don't know, but it's wood and a bunch of dollar signs.
Maybe he wants to increase it with his wood or dollars? I don't know.
Maybe if he just throws wood into the chipper.
So the only bank size increase was done at Kickstarter. There was a Kickstarter reward, I think at Amber, for 20% more bank size, remember?
Oh, yeah.
Right? That was the only place that we put that in. So that has not been offered since then. So, and believe me, we made plenty of mistakes during Kickstarter. That would be one of them. But it actually is a thing that we have to do now.
Are there any plans to reward the loyal testers backers who have been here since Hunger Dome Kickstarter days? Something like a free asset or cosmetic item.
We really want, yeah, we don't want to reward those people, do we? Of course we don't. No, I think that, you know, anybody who's been here since those days is already, you know, going to be flagged. You know, so this is maybe what some of the people are asking for. You know, are you going to be able to see your status in game about where you're a Kickstarter backer, where you're a 2015 backer, that kind of thing. You know,
we certainly do it on the forums.
Yeah.
Have you guys finalized any new benefits for VIP beyond training benefits? Previous mentioned was priority queuing, etc.
I think there's been a list of those in one of the, you know, so definitely there's priority queuing. Definitely there's a discount in the MTX store.
Correct.
Definitely there's the skills advantages. I can't remember what I thought there was a fourth thing. Anyways, we need to be better at that.
As more systems come online, those things become a little clearer too.
Yeah, what does the FAQ say? The FAQ should be up to date, right, Jack?
No, I'm still waiting on Todd to look over it.
Oh, well. You must meet Todd about the Head and Shoulders more frequently.
I do, yes.
Will there ever be an open beta?
No.
Okay.
If you don't sign up for Crowfall.com and get a Crowfall account, you're not getting into our beta. And in fact, it won't be that long before we close where you can't even get into the beta anymore. So our beta is a closed beta based on your when you registered on Crowfall.com and which group you got into in beta.
So if you don't have a wristband, you're not getting in the door.
Right.
Gotcha.
We're not a free-to-play game, right? That's typical for a free-to-play game is to have an open beta.
Okay. Weeble TV, are you still planning a mobile app or website to manage passive skills out of the game, possibly a VIP perk?
We've talked about it, but it's definitely, whatever it is, it's post-launch. Whatever it is, it's post-launch. It's just, you know, we're trying to get the launch done. You know, while some people say take forever, other people are going, where's my damn game? We're going to focus on getting the game out right now.
That sounds reasonable. Are there any plans to allow for guild tools like chatbots, APIs for items or people? Chatbots.
Nothing sounds good about chatbots.
Yeah.
I don't know. All bots sound bad to me. But I don't know about that.
Okay. When may we get to test the extra training VIP allows?
Pretty soon, actually, right?
Yeah, I purposely had them just flag everybody as non-VIP so we could make sure it works rather than skipping that this time. And then as soon as we're happy that the non-VIP works, we'll flip on VIP, and magically it will just work. Right, Gordon?
Well, one hopes that it'll work. If it won't, we'll fix it.
Yep. So, but that we just needed a testing phase where we didn't have it.
Anybody who thinks that getting noticed by me is just now noticing that getting noticed by me is a bad thing is not an observant person. Here's what's worse. What if your name is just kind of like somebody I noticed? That's the sad thing.
Scree 2. Oh, I got Scree 2 instead of Scree.
Sorry. Sorry, Scree 2.
When will VIP be able to be purchased separately from the packages?
It's not right now.
I'm guessing not.
We may have taken it out of the store until we had finished the definition.
Okay.
Oh, soon is what I'd say.
Soon, okay. Any update to the chat system into the UI upgrade? Maybe.
Well, there's a bunch of UI stuff going on. I don't know what's coming next on chat, to tell you the truth. But we're not done with it, that's for sure.
Clearly. Do you still plan to customize the crafting system with runes? For example, a blacksmith might take a swordsmith rune. We haven't got to the crafting disciplines. I just got the harvesting ones done. So as we go to crafting 2.0 in the milestone after the next one, hopefully, there will be definitely some disciplines because everybody gets disciplines. It's totally a valid playstyle. So I want to support them. Have you considered selling actual NPC bots or mobs that people can buy to make their EK trade cities seem more alive?
Yes. Next.
Okay. Will we ever
Well, actually, you know, it's not just selling. Like those things are the same type of thing, right? Where it's not just about selling them.
Well, I mean, it's also gameplay. Like vendors will make your city seem more alive.
Yep.
Will we ever get an API to use recipes, disciplines, and skills in the community-developed programs?
I don't know what that is.
I'm not sure what a community-developed program is. Okay.
No, so almost all North American games have an open beta. You're right. Ours is open in the sense that all you have to do is sign up for it ahead of time. So just sign up. But we're not going to have a thing where you can stick in your email and come and join the game. You have to create a Crowfall account ahead of time, not at the moment to get into the game.
Okay, Weebles TV VIP was removed from the store. Okay.
I'll have to go see. I don't remember why we did that. I think Todd said, let's not do it until I finish putting all the stuff in the FAQ that he hasn't looked at that Jack has finished.